I got a problem. I got a strange addiction. Somebody help me. I need an intervention. It ain't alcohol or weed. There's just one thing that I need. I got an addiction to fruit trees. Got an addiction to fruit trees. I take a persimmon to breathe. Hey, the next one I'm getting jujube. Got an addiction to fruit trees. Peace, family. All right, discussion time. Y'all know when I'm in my car, it's time to have a discussion. I'm actually just getting home from work, and on my way home from work, I caught a video. I believe the channel is called Roots and Refuge Farm. I'm going to leave a link to the video that I watched. I actually ended up listening to the video on my way home like 3 or 4 times. Because I thought the topic was very important, and I think that the lady's explanation on the topic was, I feel like it was spot on. The subject that she discussed was the terminology real food versus fake food. She was basically saying that, I think she was having a discussion with her children, and she referred to like her garden food, her garden grown food as being real food. And she got some backlash from it. You know, people were saying that she needs to be careful with the way that she words things, her terminology, because it can be offensive and it can be viewed as being marginalizing. Marginalizing to people who may not have easy access to real food. I'm going to just say what it is. People who live in these food deserts. I recognize, you know, and I'm in total agreement that this food desert situation is a real problem. It's a real thing. It's like a pandemic, really. You know, where people don't have easy access to real food. You know, so a lot of the food that people get, like in inner cities and, you know, places where there's mostly minorities, you know, it's like corner store food. You know, stuff that's in cans, in a lot of cases, old cans, old boxes. You know, just not food that's not good for you. Food where, if we look at the ingredients on the back of these packages and really study these ingredients that are in these foods, they're dangerous. You know, and we can argue really that there's more people in food deserts in this country than what we even recognize. You know, even if you're in an area where they have a store, you know, that's somewhere close that sells real food, if it's priced so high that not everybody is able to consistently purchase it, then I would argue that you're a part of that food desert as well. Your area is a part of that food desert also. But that we can discuss at another time. What I wanted to discuss was just the notion that we should be careful with the way that we label things in regards to food, because it would be offensive. Here's the thing. I feel like truth is truth, and a lie is a lie. The truth is that your garden-grown food is real food, and that manufactured food is not, it's fake food. You know, and she said that one of the things that she said was like, yeah, the opposite of real food from these people's argument is fake food. An example that she uses, like if you go to a fast food restaurant where, you know, let's call a spade a spade. Fast food restaurants in most cases sell a lot of fake food. But if you ask for cheese on your burger, are you really eating cheese, or is it mostly like vegetable oil with food coloring and flavoring that tastes sort of like cheese and is shaped like cheese, but it's not really cheese, it's mostly vegetable oil? Is that a real food, or is that fake food? You know, for us to say that it's not a real food and for that to be wrong is insane. When if you look at the package of sliced cheese, in a lot of cases it'll say a cheese product. You look at the ingredients and there's a massive amount of ingredients in it, as opposed to it just being milk, you know, milk fat or whatever, curds, and salt, or whatever it is that's involved with making real cheese. I felt like this was important. I wanted to chime in on it because I feel like, in my opinion, we can't solve a problem if we're not able to confront the truth. If we're not able to call something what it is and say that it's not something that it's not, we're not going to be able to solve the issue. And there's a real issue with food. There's a real issue with the diet, especially here in America. And I'm speaking on America because this is where I live. This is where she lived. This is where a lot of the people that watch my videos are from. There's a real problem here with that. But to not be able to call real food, I mean, that's insane to me. I know we live in a society where, we try to be politically correct and we try not to be offensive, but I feel like, sometimes too far is a little bit too far. And not being able to be truthful about things like that, it keeps people in delusion. And when you're in delusion, there's no hope. There's no hope for change because you've got people living in a delusion. Not trying to get religious, but, in that book that a lot of us are familiar with, it said you shall know the truth and the truth will set you free. If you can't face truth and if you can't tell truth and if you can't call things what they are, then, how are you going to be free of the problem? It's like if I have a toy dog and I say, well, this is not a real dog. I mean, it's a fake dog. And somebody says, well, don't call it a fake dog because little Johnny might get offended by it and you don't want to be offensive. It's a real dog to him, but it's not really a real dog. I mean, that's probably a ridiculous, analogy, but I feel like it's just as ridiculous as calling fake food real food, or not being able to call real food. The fact of the matter is the food that you grow in your garden is real food. You're growing it, you're caring for it, you're nurturing it. You know where everything came from involving that real food. The food that we mostly diet on, this manufactured food, is not real food. Sure, it'll sustain you, but at what cost? If your diet consists mostly of processed foods, your health suffers for that. So can we really call that real food? We got to wake up and we got to stop allowing ourselves to be caught up in a delusion. Like I recognize, food deserts, that's a real thing. But I'm not going to say that the food that's in these food deserts or that's accessible to people, I'm not going to say that it's real food because I don't want to be offensive to those people that are in food deserts. I'm going to say, no, this is fake food. And here's what we need to do to get access to real food. We can't solve this issue if we're living in a delusion. Because the mother of the delusion is a lie. And there's no freedom and there's no truth in the lie. So I felt like that was important. I feel like this subject matter is important. I'm very interested to know what you all think. I'm never going to be one that's going to sugarcoat truth. If I'm wrong about something that I feel is true, then I'll come back, I'll correct myself, I'll apologize. But if there's something that's true, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. So tell me what you all think in the comments. I get back to you. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.